Think about the modern world for a second. It's a world of instant communication, of next-day delivery, of sprawling suburbs and constant connectivity. But what if you wanted to leave all that behind? Not just move to a quiet suburb, but to truly disconnect. To go to the end of the road and then keep going? Across the United States, tucked into mountain valleys, perched on rocky coasts, and spread across vast deserts, are communities that have done exactly that. These are America's most remote towns, places you can't reach by a casual drive down an interstate. Many are hundreds of miles from the nearest major city or even a commercial airport. To get there might require a small plane, a long ferry ride, a journey on a gravel road, or even a combination of all three. The isolation is not an accident. It's the defining feature. Yet, in these far-flung corners of the country, people don't just survive. They thrive. They choose a life that, to many of us, seems impossibly difficult. They refuse to leave. Why? What is it about the edge of the map that holds them so fiercely? The answer is never simple. It's a complex tapestry of stunning natural beauty, profound self-reliance, tight-knit community bonds, and a deliberate rejection of the relentless pace of modern life. Today, we're going to explore the phenomenon of remote living in America. We'll identify the common traits of these towns, the unique challenges and rewards their residents face, and uncover the powerful, often surprising reasons why people call these isolated places home. Before we talk about why people stay, we have to understand what makes a place truly remote. It's more than just a small population. We're talking about geographical isolation that imposes a tangible cost on daily life. Key metrics include distance to services. The nearest hospital with an emergency room might be a 2-hour flight or a 5-hour drive. A trip to a big box store like Walmart or Home Depot isn't a quick errand. It's a major day-long expedition that requires careful planning and lists. Access and infrastructure. Many of these towns are not connected to the national electrical grid. They generate their own power, often from diesel generators or local micro-hydro systems. There may be no cell phone service, and internet, if it exists, might be slow, expensive satellite-based service. Transportation. You often can't just get in your car and go. Some towns are fly-in only, like many communities in the Alaskan bush, where a Cessna Caravan or a float plane is the school bus, the ambulance, and the grocery truck. Others are accessible only by seasonal roads that become impassable with mud or snow for months at a time, or by ferry systems that run on limited schedules dictated by tides and weather. Now let's journey to some archetypes of American remoteness. While we can't list a definitive top 10 without specific video data, we can describe the categories these towns fall into, each with its own character and challenges. The Alaskan Bush Community. This is the epitome of American remoteness. Towns like Barrow, Utqiagvik, the northernmost city in the US, or McGrath, a hub in the interior, exist in a landscape that dominates every aspect of life. Here, remoteness is compounded by extreme climate. Winter brings weeks of perpetual darkness and temperatures that can plunge to -50 degrees Fahrenheit. Residents live a subsistence lifestyle, relying heavily on hunting, caribou, moose, fishing, salmon, and gathering. A gallon of milk can cost $15, flown in on a small plane. Why stay? For the Inupiat and other Alaska Native residents, this is not just a home. It is their ancestral homeland, the center of their culture and traditions that stretch back thousands of years. For transplants, it's the ultimate test of self-reliance and a connection to a raw, unfiltered natural world found nowhere else in the country. The Western Mountain Enclave. Nestled deep in the Rockies or the Sierra Nevada are towns like Monarch, Montana, near the Canadian border, or Green River, Utah. These are often former mining or ranching towns that the mainstream economy passed by. They are surrounded by millions of acres of national forest or BLM land. Access is via a single winding mountain road that can be closed by avalanches in winter. The population might be just a few dozen hardy souls. Why stay? It's about solitude and an unbroken connection to the wilderness. It's for the person who wants to step out their back door and not see another light for miles, who finds peace in the silence of a pine forest, and who values the freedom that comes with true open space. The island community. Off the coasts of Maine, Washington, or Alaska, there are islands with year-round populations. Places like Matanikos Island, Maine, 20 miles out in the Atlantic, or Angoon, Alaska, in the Alexander Archipelago. The ferry might come only a few times a week, and schedules are at the mercy of the weather and the sea. The economy is often tied to fishing and lobstering. Why stay? There's a powerful, almost tribal sense of community. On a small island, everyone knows everyone. You depend on your neighbors in a very real way, and that fosters a deep, resilient social bond. Life is tied to the rhythms of the tides and the seasons of the fishery, creating a sense of purpose rooted in tradition and the sea. The high desert outpost. In the vast, empty stretches of the Great Basin or the Southwest, you'll find towns like Tonopah, Nevada, or Randsburg, California. These are ghost towns that never quite died. They exist in landscapes of stark, breathtaking beauty. Sagebrush plains, painted deserts, and jagged mountain ranges. The air is dry, the sun is relentless, and the nearest traffic light could be 100 miles away. Why stay? It's a mix of history, affordability, and a love for the austere beauty of the desert. For artists, retirees, and loners, it offers incredible quiet and a night sky undimmed by any light pollution, where the Milky Way is a brilliant splash across the heavens. So, we return to the central, compelling question. Why do they refuse to leave? The reasons are as layered as the people themselves. 1. Community as survival. In remote places, your neighbor isn't just someone you wave to. They are your safety net. If your truck gets stuck in a snowdrift, if you have a medical emergency, if your roof caves in, it's your community that responds. This interdependence forges relationships of incredible strength and trust. There's no anonymity. Your word is your bond, and social capital is the most valuable currency. This creates a sense of belonging and mutual responsibility that is hard to find in an anonymous suburb. 2. Self-reliance as a virtue. Living remotely requires competence. You learn to fix your own engine, maintain your own generator, hunt or grow your own food, and weather a storm without calling for help. This daily practice of competence breeds a profound sense of empowerment and pride. There's a deep satisfaction in knowing you can handle what the land and the weather throw at you. It's a lifestyle that actively rejects helplessness. 3. A tangible connection to place and environment. Residents aren't just living in a beautiful place. They are living with it. They know the migration patterns of the elk, the best berry patches, the moods of the river, and the signs of an approaching storm. This deep environmental literacy creates a bond that is almost familial. They aren't spectators of nature. They are participants in it. Leaving would mean severing a fundamental relationship. 4. Freedom from the rat race. Remote life offers an escape from the pressures of constant consumption, long commutes, and the performative aspects of modern society. Value is placed on time, peace, and experience, rather than on material accumulation and status. The pace of life is dictated by natural cycles and personal necessity, not by a corporate clock or social media feeds. 5. Preserving a way of life. For many, especially in indigenous communities or multi-generational fishing and ranching towns, staying is an act of cultural preservation. They are the stewards of traditions, languages, and knowledge that would vanish if they left. This sense of duty to the past and responsibility to future generations is a powerful anchor. The psychology of living in extreme remoteness extends far beyond the practical challenges. It fundamentally rewires one's relationship with time, society, and self. In a world where boredom is considered an ailment to be cured by digital distraction, remote residents have a different relationship with empty hours. The absence of ready-made entertainment, movie theaters, concerts, bustling restaurants, forces a shift to internal and community-based resources. People become producers of their own culture, They organize potlucks, play in local bands, write, craft, and tell stories. This active creation of meaning, rather than passive consumption of it, fosters a profound sense of agency and a slower, more deliberate experience of time. Seasons, not weeks, become the relevant calendar. Life is organized around the fishing opener, the hunting season, the time to put up firewood, the first snow, and the spring breakup. This cyclical, rather than linear sense of time reduces the frenetic anxiety of modern life and creates a rhythm that feels anchored to the natural world. The pressure to keep up vanishes, replaced by the imperative to prepare for. This lifestyle also cultivates a unique form of applied gratitude. When every gallon of gas, fresh vegetable, or piece of mail has arrived via a complex, costly, and sometimes dangerous logistical chain, you don't take it for granted. A successful hunt that fills the freezer for winter is met with genuine reverence and thankfulness. A care package from the family outside is a major event. This constant, low-grade awareness of the effort behind every commodity breeds a mindset of conservation and appreciation that is largely absent from consumer culture. It's not a philosophy you read about. It's a lesson you live every time you calculate the weight and cost of what you load onto a bush plane. This gratitude extends to neighbors. The interdependence isn't just about emergencies. It's about the daily fabric of life. You borrow a tool, you trade a halibut for a loaf of homemade bread, you watch a neighbor's kids so they can make a supply run. This creates an economy of favors and mutual aid that is far more resilient and personally meaningful than a monetary transaction. Your social worth is tied to your reliability and your skills, not your job title or net worth. The decision to stay, however, is often a decision about what to pass on to the next generation. This is where the internal conflict of remote towns is most acute. Parents wrestle with giving their children the unparalleled gifts of freedom, safety, and connection to nature, while simultaneously limiting their access to advanced education, diverse career paths, and a broader social world. In some towns, high school graduation is a bittersweet event, as it often means the young person must leave for college or work, with no guarantee they will or can return. Communities grapple with this brain drain. Some, especially in Alaska, have fought for and built robust local schools that incorporate traditional ecological knowledge alongside standard curricula. Others develop programs to train young people in local trades, fishing, guiding, small engine repair, to provide a viable economic future. The most successful remote towns are not museums. They are living systems that find a way to evolve while holding on to their core values. They might attract remote workers with satellite internet, or develop a niche ecotourism economy that provides jobs without industrializing the landscape. The ones that survive are those where why we stay is a story that can be convincingly told to a teenager wondering about their future. Ultimately, the refusal to leave America's most remote towns is a quiet, collective act of defiance. It is a rejection of the homogenizing force of globalization, a statement that a good life can be built on a different set of principles. In an era of climate change and social fragmentation, these communities are also unintentional laboratories for resilience. They have always operated with finite resources, strong social networks, and a deep understanding of their local environment, precisely the skills that larger societies are now scrambling to learn. Their choice isn't a retreat from the world, but a commitment to a specific, deeply known piece of it. They have traded the convenience of the mainstream for the authenticity of the margin. They have chosen depth over breadth, mastery over access, and community over crowd. In doing so, they remind the rest of us that connectivity is not the same as connection, that convenience can erode competence, and that true independence is found not in having endless choices, but in being deeply rooted in the choices you've made. Their stories are a crucial counter-narrative in the American mythos, proving that the frontier spirit didn't disappear. It just moved to the last places on the map, where the Wi-Fi is weak, but the sense of purpose is strong. Of course, this life is not a romantic fantasy. It comes with immense sacrifices, limited healthcare, scarce educational and professional opportunities for young people, the constant threat of natural disasters with delayed outside aid, and the psychological weight of true isolation. Yet, for those who choose it, the rewards, authentic community, personal sovereignty, and a direct, unfiltered experience of the natural world far outweigh the costs. They refuse to leave because in these remote towns, they have found something that the connected world often struggles to provide: a life that feels genuinely, deeply their own. In choosing the edge, they have found their center,